Olivia passed, which is sad. You know, Grease was always, everybody's seen Grease.
You're the one that I want.
Yeah, no singing. But Travolta, there was a comment, you know, Travolta put out his comment about it and stuff. So
I wonder if that's why earlier today on Instagram I saw it wasn't Grease. It was
was it Xanadu?
No, it was the other one that John Travolta, the dancing, Saturday Night Fever.
Oh, yeah.
But it was the scene where he's in the club and he's like dancing.
Maybe.
Yeah. No, because she wasn't even in that movie. So
no, she's not.
Why would I see that on the same?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't it be a Grease?
That's such a bummer, man. Like
that is
there's
kind
too
of a bummer.
Many,
I mean,
she's 73. That's still young. That's not old.
I mean,
that's not old.
No,
it's definitely not young, but it's not old.
Yeah. Well,
bummer.
You know, rest in peace, Olivia.
For me, I'm more of like the front end of it.
I'm just making it up. Of a similar nature or character.
JMKast. JMKast.
But we get shocked often by Chris.
If you Google my name, it always pulls up Ric Flair and Blackjack Mulligan. That's another story for another time, though.
Hey, it's the JMKast. I'm Greg T. Johnson.
Yeah, I can't get it wrong if you say it. I'm Rick Mulligan.
Yeah, I'm not going to let you say Craig again.
Evidently, last episode I
Come on.
Past episode.
I mean, Craig.
I mean, he was our guest, so it must have been Freudianly on my head. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I called him you, so, you know, thereabouts.
Okay. Ric Flair.
No. It's all right.
You have your cape on today?
No.
Your robe?
No, I don't have my robe on.
Well, I have
a hoodie on.
I'm the one with the robe.
Oh, are you a robe guy?
The dude.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah. I actually have the dude robe.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
And the sunglasses.
Well, that's right. I have the Rick and Morty pickle and the big Rick head for Halloween because I'm always Pickle Rick.
Okay.
Although this year I'm going to be Death.
Oh.
And I got these big, long, scary fingers. I'm going to scare the crap out of the kids.
Ooh.
We love
trick-or-treaters. Beware.
We hand out candy here, and we have so much fun with it. Anyway, that's like a couple months away.
All right, we're the JMKast podcast, and, you know, if you like it, and subscribe, share
with your friends,
all that good stuff.
Please help us grow.
Yeah, we had a kind of fun thing today.
Well, we had something planned that was going to be fun.
Oh, well,
we had to pivot.
We definitely pivoted from what our fun thing was going to be. Special guest.
That'll happen down the road.
And his name was mentioned by Craig.
It was, which was awesome.
Oh, we almost had him before Craig.
Know.
And it actually now works better that we're going to have him after.
I know. It's perfect.
Yeah. But no, we got all of our official podcast graphics today.
Oh, that too. Yes.
Yes, so we got to officially submit.
I've submitted it to most of the platforms. Apple's going to take the longest, evidently, to get back with us and say we're yay or nay. And then it's on SoundCloud, it's on Spotify, it's on Amazon, it's on all of them. So hopefully within the next few days, it'll be much easier to find this podcast than going to YouTube.
So we might have new listeners.
Which would be amazing.
And wonder if they'll start at the beginning or they'll just start right there. Or what do people usually do? You're more of a podcast listener.
That's interesting. I guess it depends on the show because ours is more topical content. It's not story-esque, you know, like there's not like a through line.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess for the most part, people will just kind of listen where they are and move forward. And maybe they may go back and pick up one or two, but I doubt it.
So then it would be important to tell people again why we're doing this.
This is true. It would be.
Yeah. So anyway, we're the JMKast, and we're doing it because we have a business.
Yeah, JMK Creative Group, located just outside of Dallas, Texas.
And we do video production, video marketing, podcast.
Yeah. Which has been really fun.
Yeah, we're enjoying this new venture.
Unintended venture.
Yeah, we just kind of, how's a way we could get the word out and have fun with it.
Yeah. Well, we had a client that does a podcast.
Yeah.
And two things, I look at it as two things. One, we learned a lot from him.
Yep.
We learned a lot of good and bad things. He's learned a lot of good and bad things. But also we thought, well, we can see how this works for us to see what other things we can learn to, one, take to him and new clients.
Right.
And to just have some freaking fun with it. It gives us the opportunity to sit down, not have the computer on, and talk about, just we don't get to see each other face to face a ton. We're usually over the phone.
Maybe once a week if we're lucky.
Yeah. So this is nice because it allows us to be face to face, have conversations that over the phone are maybe a little like harder.
Right.
Or maybe not harder, but anyway, it's a nice pivot to be. It's a word I want to use a lot all of a sudden.
That's the first time.
No, I've used it twice. I said it a second ago.
So
Anyway.
number 2 for pivot.
Yeah, we can have the pivot counter going. It's kind of like never mind. So yeah,
He's about to pivot.
I've always enjoyed podcasts. I like the medium. I did one with some high school friends a long time ago. So when you put the opportunity on the table, it wasn't even a matter of like, I don't know, I'll think about it. It was like, yeah, let's totally do it.
Yeah. I mean, and really, it is a good way for us to talk about things we enjoy.
Sure.
I mean, not, we've gotten to talk about poker a little bit, but I mean, we get to talk about what we do in our business. And I mean,
sure.
Since we've started doing it, I mean, come on. What doesn't it just put you like a smile on your face every time you think about our business?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The freedom that this company has given us to live a different life, for one.
We're so wealthy. I mean,
it has nothing to do with the money.
Filthy
it has nothing
rich.
to do with the money. The money will be what it is. It's, for me personally, it's
freedom
of
our own schedules.
Sleep has been my biggest one.
We're still having issues.
No. Getting sleep. Yes. I was not getting sleep for years.
Yeah, well, you worked the kind of graveyard.
Yeah, so I
early morning shift.
I didn't sleep well.
Yeah.
And to getting to be home, just getting the time to be home, not having to look at the clock and go, I got to go to bed at 8:30 or 9 o'clock. And I probably should go to bed a little earlier than I do.
Right. Well, I mean, old habits kind of,
college life kicks in for some reason.
And I mean, and you're a poker player. Poker players tend to like to play late for some reason.
Well, because that's when everyone's playing.
I guess. Not always.
I'm still mad.
That's not.
I still feel like I was cheated last time I played, so I don't want to play for a while.
The site was out to get you.
Well, talk about it.
All right. Let's make let's make Rick happy.
Oh, is this because okay?
No singing.
Well, that's how the song goes. Well, hey, they were just told they were ranked number 6 in the preseason polls. So.
Oh, you just found that out?
Yeah, they're 6. I don't know who's ahead of them. I don't really care.
Oh,
I think it's a generous ranking, but
okay. So I'm gonna ask, and I'm not saying the name quite yet, just because there's been reports, and it's been mentioned before, and they didn't die, but did I read right? Olivia Newton John.
Yeah, she
Greece.
She officially passed. Yeah, she's been battling cancer for a while, and
that's so sad.
I think this is the 3rd time that they had said she had passed, but this time she's actually passed.
Recently, or
yeah, like it was like 3 or 4 months ago that they said she had passed, and she came out and she goes, "I'm okay," and it was like, but she's.
But
been
you
battling.
said CNN said it this time.
I always
CNN
anytime I see
last
it
time.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Anytime I see it on Facebook,
did TMZ say it?
I don't like a TMZ. TMZ annoys me.
That's usually the one you can really know.
I don't like their practices though.
But it's usually the one you can kind of this is real.
Well, it's like Anne Heche got in an accident the other day, and they didn't reveal who I think ABC didn't reveal who it was.
Right.
And Michelle's like, I'll know in 2 seconds. And she goes to TMZ and she's like, it was Anne Heche. And I was like, oh, that's terrible. It sounds like she was drunk driving. She got hurt pretty bad.
It sounded like she maybe some mental issue.
Yeah, they said
she was in a previous accident and people tried to stop her.
Yeah.
And then she I don't know. She was in
Scary.
this neighbor. That was an odd story.
But yeah, no,
Lots of
Olivia,
details we don't know.
Olivia passed, which is sad. You know, Grease was always, everybody's seen Grease.
You're the one that I want.
Yeah, no singing. But Travolta, there was a comment, you know, Travolta put out his comment about it and stuff. So
I wonder if that's why earlier today on Instagram I saw it wasn't Grease. It was
was it Xanadu?
no, it was the other one that John Travolta, the dancing, Saturday Night Fever.
Oh, yeah.
But it was the scene where he's in the club and he's like dancing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But no, because she wasn't even in that movie. So
No, she's not.
why would I see that on the same?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't it be a Grease?
That's such a bummer, man. Like
That is
there's
kind of
too
a
many.
bummer. I
She's
mean,
73. That's still young. That's not old.
I mean,
That's not old.
No,
it's definitely not young, but it's
Yeah.
not old.
yeah. Well,
Bummer.
you know, rest in peace, Olivia.
We need like a little open and close for passings.
Yeah, I don't have any music
Create a
really for that. I have an air horn.
No,
that's probably
that's
not
probably not
appropriate. No. And I got the rim shot. That
Yeah, definitely not
probably
appropriate.
not gonna work for this. But hey, anyway, I want to talk about this on our podcast.
I'm interested in whatever you want to talk about. I have no idea what you're going to
Hey, did we tell people to like, subscribe, and share?
We did.
You sure?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure. Because, I mean, sometimes we forget.
That's true.
I don't even know if we did in the last
I don't think
at
we
the very
did.
end we did,
Maybe
but
the
I
very
don't
end.
know if we did. I know it's annoying for people to hear, but it's just something you got to say.
Yep.
Something you got to say. So, I was thinking...
You get in trouble. I get in trouble when you think.
Yeah. That whole middle name thing with me. T for trouble.
That almost was a spit take.
And you almost actually said something in the microphone.
No, I almost did a spit take.
Anyway, okay, here we go. This is the topic.
Okay.
Let's talk about when you shoot and edit your own video versus when you edit someone else's video.
So for me, this is interesting because I started as an editor and I liked editing way more than shooting. I still like editing way more than shooting. The biggest difference for me is who I get mad at when I don't have the shot that I want. And obviously, if I shot it, I can't get really all that mad at myself.
You can.
Oh, I do. And trust me, I do. Yeah, it's such an interesting dynamic because, like, you don't, like, obviously, you know, usually you know ahead of time what you're getting when you're like, oh, we send someone out to shoot a balloon launch. So, okay, it's a balloon launch. I know what my story is going to be. But I know how I would shoot that. I have no idea how you would shoot that, or, you know, Joe Smith down the street would shoot that. I have no idea how those people would shoot that. So I get super interested in what I'm going to get. It's like, okay, now I got to go through it. I got to look at it. But I would rather edit.
You really have no idea how I would shoot it.
I do. I absolutely do you, but I'm just making it for example of the discussion. But I can almost know exactly what I'm going to get from you when you shoot it.
I started just like you. I started as an
Right.
editor and became, but I mean, I had done shooting in college.
See,
and
I didn't want to
stuff,
shoot. I didn't want to shoot.
and I didn't either. I wanted to be an editor. Ultimately, I wanted to be a post-production editor.
Yeah, same thing.
That's what I wanted.
News
to
was
do.
not where I wanted
That
to
was
go.
when they had the abacus
Yep.
and all the little other gadgets. Can you imagine? Did you ever learn the abacus and like how it works to do the keyframes and all that stuff?
I don't think I had the pleasure of going that route.
Yeah. So I did have a chance to mess around with some of those things, and I mean it's like everything we do in the nonlinear world. How much math and how much harder that was when you had to program it into the abacus and stuff and stuff.
Oh, I definitely didn't have to do that.
I mean, now it's all you do it kind of visually,
Right?
But back then you had to think math.
Yeah, I'd have been screwed.
You know, it was like
I'd have been
It was
screwed.
so much. It was very different, very different. But
I mean-
and I'm glad it went the way it did. But
Right.
it's so much easier. I mean, it was really. I mean, it was a technical skill to
Sure.
learn how to do, like, especially if like someone that was proficient in creating opens and stuff.
Right, which is your
They
specialty.
were using layers, and they were using the D2s and the all those. That's a format of tape, by the way. The D2.
Yeah, we're not even going to try to explain the
Yeah.
formats of all that stuff. You
Yeah.
can get lost in that nightmare.
I mean, I remember speaking once to a class,
Okay.
and I'm gonna have to count real quick out loud just to remember this, because I don't remember the exact number, but so at the time I knew how to use editing styles:
Okay.
tape to tape,
Right, of course.
Avid, News Cutter,
Yep.
Final Cut,
Okay.
Grass Valley Vibrant.
I knew Grass Valley, the original.
Then we had the Sony, was it the 2000? I forget what it was
Don't know
called
that
there.
one. Don't know that
and
one.
then also at Channel 8, there was the Sony News Clip.
Okay. Never had
So
to do those.
literally any day, I could be using up to seven
editors.
types of editing systems.
Wow.
Is that?
And Avid is very different than the rest.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Oh,
Avid is night and day different than the rest when it started.
I mean, in Final Cut. And
is very different.
The vibe, I mean, 7.
I miss Final Cut 7.
No, not Final Cut 7.
No.
I meant
You just
7
said, you had said
different.
Final Cut and then 7. And I just,
But
was like,
that's
oh, yeah,
not what I
Final-
meant.
know.
Yes, and it probably was Final Cut
I
7.
love Final Cut 7.
Yeah, and then they created 10. And I don't want to even talk about 10.
No one
I
does.
mean, so many people they still like it, but it was
I don't understand
night
it.
and day.
I don't
It was a
understand
total different way of thinking.
Did you ever see the Conan skit about all the errors that were happening with Final Cut 10 when it first came out?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you should go back and Google it. It's really funny. And like the random green keyframe and the out of sync video, like all the things
Like,
that were happening when you would export your
Only
video.
people who actually are working in some sort of video would even know
Right.
that.
But it was hilarious because he was like, when you would export your video, the biggest problem in the original was they would be a random green screen that would pop up in almost everybody's videos. And a video was completely out of sync. And there was all these different issues. I remember Conan did a really funny segment on it.
Final Cut was where I learned about the Rainbow of Death.
Oh, yeah. That's a fun one.
Rainbow of Death,
Spinning
especially
wheel.
on Final Cut.
The spinning wheel on Apple when it would
It was
pop
the
up.
worst on Final Cut for some
Oh,
people.
it
If
was
you
terrible.
ever got that wheel on Final Cut, forget it.
I
It's
would-
not going away.
I would save
No.
when I did Final Cut 7. I had it set up to save every 5 minutes. I would hit Control S or whatever, Command S, whatever it was, almost every 2 to 3 minutes because I had lost that many projects.
Wow. But back to topic.
Yeah.
We were talking about the editing, what you shoot and what you don't shoot. And I started as an editor as well.
I would rather someone bring it to me.
Really?
Yeah,
Because you like editing more.
way more.
Okay.
I would like a good shooter to bring it to me.
Right.
I wouldn't want no knock on you, Harvey. You don't know yet. I wouldn't want Harvey to bring it to me.
It might be great.
At some point, he will be great. But right now, I don't know.
Yeah.
We have only seen him shoot 3 or 4 things while standing next to us.
Yes.
So until I see him go out and
Well, hopefully vacations are over for him and we can
put that boy to
give
work.
him the
Put that
the
boy to
kit
work.
and start really
Yeah.
getting to know it.
for sure.
So we need to get him to okay, this is where you started, and then let him like
We need to give him
we
assignments.
upload.
We need to give him assignments.
Yep, upload the video
Yeah.
of when he's right now, with no
Zero.
instruction.
No, I want none. I want him to go. I want him to
Say
make
go
mistakes.
shoot something and load it. So we're gonna keep it for
I want him to
posterity.
make so many mistakes. Oh, I just want him to make so many mistakes.
Well, you know what? I mean, when we first got him, he didn't even know how to put the camera and stuff together. Now,
Oh, he still has issues with that.
well,
He's
but
better. He's a lot better.
we can almost go ahead and let him set it all up, though.
He's pretty close. I think Friday I'm going to let him do that. I think Friday I'm going to have him do. I'll have him do all the cameras while I set up the switcher
Right.
because he knows how to do switcher, so I'm not worried about that.
Back to what we were saying.
So I'm curious on your end
Yeah.
how that works for you.
So for me, I think you're going to be surprised. What do you think it is?
I think you're going to say that you like shooting, you like editing your own stuff, but not because you said you're surprised. You're going to say I don't want to shoot. I just want to edit.
So when I started, again, I wasn't shooting at first. I was doing the editing,
Right.
other people's shooting. So I was working in San Antonio, and with Chris, and
Oh, Chris Palmer.
yeah, Chris Palmer.
Took me a second. I don't know why I had to think of what Chris you were talking about.
So I'm in San Antonio, and someone I remember this one particular time very distinctly. It was a fire at it was a house
Okay.
fire, and someone had shot the B-roll for that, and I'm looking at them kind of walking around and getting video, kind of following the firefighter around, and then maybe part of a window and seeing the hose, and then maybe like some people over there. But I mean, they maybe shot like 3 minutes total of B-roll from this
You
one
only
little
need
fire.
40-second news story.
But nowhere was a wide shot. There was not
fire.
even one shot of this whole house that had been burned. It was like
The shot everyone wants to see wasn't
it's
there.
pieces. And I'm like, how am I supposed to, like,
That's funny.
who did this? Like, this is what I learned from editing. I learned how to shoot.
Oh, for sure.
From just being an editor,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I knew what I wanted or what I needed,
Yeah.
and so often it wasn't there, and I was like,
Yeah.
come on, how hard is it to set the camera up and get the wide shot of the house?
Yeah.
It happened a lot. As an editor, I would find things like that all the time.
So when I first started shooting, this is interesting. It made me remember a story. I hadn't been shooting very long, and in fact, I think I was still training. I was doing the morning show, and I was with a photographer named Bill Krupka, who I worked with at Channel 3. And Bill was one of the guys that taught me, and Bill was amazing. Still to this day, every time I go to Kalamazoo, I make sure to see him. Just one of my favorite human beings alive. And we were shooting a house fire in February. Or I'm sorry, it was a down, like, it wasn't even a house fire. It was a like, we were in a small downtown in Michigan. There's a lot of small downtowns in Michigan, and this whole block, like it was like 2 or 3 buildings, was just gone. But it was completely engulfed from first story to second story, just massive flames. But it is also the coldest week of the year in Michigan, and it is snow coming down, and it is ice cold. And I'm watching him shoot, and I'm shooting stuff too. I am wide shot central. I am nothing but wide shots. I am terrified to get anything tight. Nothing but wide shots. And I watch what he's doing, and he got those shots. He got the necessary shots, but he got the shots too of the firefighters freezing. And the ice, literally, like the guy with literally whose nose is frozen and his beard is frozen, and you can see the ice in his beard, and you can see the icicles on it, and you sit there and look at it for a second, and you're like, oh, it's a fire. But the story is, yes, it's this historic building that's gone, but it's also that these guys are out here freezing.
It's the flavor,
right? So I remember when we got done, we went back to the station, and the guys were brutal with me. They would every day, let me see your tape. Let me see your tape. So Bill obviously is with me.
well, that's good. I mean,
No, it was great.
They're wanting
It just-
you to grow.
No, it was good. Trust me. I look back at it now and I realize how amazing it was. But when it happened, every day it wore on you. You know, there was never a break. Because the guys who taught me, Matt Loughran, Bill Krupka, John McCrary, Jamie Munden, Dave Barrett, like those guys, when I walked in the building, it was, let's see your tape every single time. And it was great. It really was. But at the same time, it just got old because I'm talking.
You didn't realize what they were doing.
Of course not.
You were thinking of it.
Man,
Really?
my boss, John McCrary, still there, still the assistant news director at WWMT in Kalamazoo. Man, he was brutal in the best ways possible. Like, trust me, I'm so grateful for everything he taught me. He's the nicest guy. He was never mean about it. It was never, ever did he make me feel stupid or mean or anything like that. It was just like, hey, why'd you do that? Anyway, so Bill watches my tape, and Bill goes, okay, I want you to watch my tape and look at the differences. And he goes, who has the better story? And I'm like, well, you're going to have the better story. He goes, no, just watch it. so I watch his, I watch mine, and he goes, they make me cut 2 40-second VOs from mine that had to be different. There had to be a morning show read and a midday read. So they had to be different. And then I had to do the same thing for his, but one had to be a midday and one had to be a 5 o'clock. So it was very different, you know. And I'm like, well, I don't have any scripts to work from. And they're like, we don't care about that. Just make sure, you know, how would you tell the story differently? 2 times with yours, 2 times with his. And I found that with his, you said it exactly. The flavor was just so much more to work with. And it's still only going to be a 12-second story on the air until you realize that the building is 100 and X number of years old. And you start to find out what had been in the building, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's more to it. And then you realize when they write the script, you're like, I have to re-edit this. Like, you can't put that on the air. Like, I didn't have those elements. I didn't know those things when I edited it. So, but you know, what I learned from those guys in terms of exactly what you said, watching the tape and going, what did I miss? But the thing I learned from him that I still struggle with is the reaction stuff.
Yeah.
Is the looking at the person who, or someone who's, reaction to what you're seeing in the video. So you see that fire, where's the shot of the woman crying because her house is gone, which is horrible, but it's so crucial to the story.
How would you describe how me and you work together, like when we're on a shoot? Because it's probably different than what most people are used to seeing 2 photographers come into a scene and work it.
It's interesting because we don't really talk very much. I'm still more of comfortable getting the wider shots, the establisher shots. I'm way more comfortable, and I always have been, with the wider and establishers. And I tried to get a lot of those. You are definitely the details guy, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I'm definitely know to do it. If I'm there by myself, I know to do it. But if you're there, I'm like, okay, there's no point in us shooting the same thing twice. There's just not. Now, if we're getting the same thing from a different angle, that's different. You know, like sometimes when we're doing encore, the guys are going up in bucket trucks. It's cool to have that from 2 different angles, but my shot's probably going to be looser.
Well, I think what we've kind of we started like you're the wide shot, I'm the tight shot.
Yeah.
But we've turned into you're the wide shot, I'm the tight shot, but you're also the action camera. Like you're the one that gets the GoPro and and like
I'm way more. Yeah, that's
like
true.
really cool fun stuff.
I always try to think of something stupid to do with the GoPro.
So and that's kind of like that's kind of like become your
I love the GoPro on the bucket truck going up.
Yeah.
And I love it when the guy I love it when I can hand the camera to somebody and they're like, is it running? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, what do you want? And I go, just kind of show me what you're doing. And they go, got it. And they get it. And then I hand it to some guys, and the next thing you know, they're like pointing it at the ground. And I'm like, what are you doing? So that happens occasionally. But I love clamping the GoPros to, you know, we usually have at least 3 to 4 we're using at any one time. But I love clamping them in different places, putting them in different areas. You taught me the tool of the GoPro. I had them, but I didn't use it the way it wasn't until we did a shoot. I want to say, I don't think it was the drone shoot. I think it was the second shoot we did for Encore.
Electric thefts.
Yeah. Where you really started to use it, where I was like, I don't
remember using the GoPro.
Maybe not. It was early. And I remember,
I don't even remember using it for the drones, really.
That's what I'm saying.
I was using my iPhone because you could zoom.
Yeah. I think it was just early on. I remember you using the GoPro and me being like, it was almost like a light bulb where I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. And now I use it all the dang time. Like I use it all the time. Like when I did the Possum Kingdom Lake, I had 2 of them in my hands. I had one up here and like I had one far left and one far right. And I still shot myself into a hole in editing. It was so funny watching it because I'm like, Andy made me correct something. And I had no way to edit around it. I had no way to edit out of it.
And one day we'll tell you who Andy is.
Yeah.
There's a whole story about
Andy's one of the producers we work with, but we'll fill you in more. We'll have him on the podcast for sure someday.
But, you know, unfortunately.
Oh, it's that time.
It's that time.
Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe.
Comment, ask questions.
Hey,
I love questions.
We're officially going to be on all those podcasts.
Yeah, you'll find them everywhere. Hopefully, we'll let you know when that happens.
Bye. Thanks.
See you. We out.